First things, they're not doing any. These results are what? Absolutely wild. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Nakya. Today is a day in the life of a data analyst. First things first, over the weekend, I recently bought these Bose QC45 headphones, white. They've been good, however, I got these over the weekend. I'm about to knock down the Airpods Max in space gray. These mugs are heavy. In comparison, these are definitely heavy. But I got these because with my Bose, with these, I don't know if it's because it's connected to two devices or what the case is, but with these, I get static when I'm on my conference calls, like video conference calls every time. I don't know why I'm getting static. I've reset them through the app. I've removed one device, because it can be connected up to two devices. I removed it from one device, but it still gives me static. So I figured I would try these out and see. If you have these, I've been watching a lot of review videos, but if you have these and you use them for work, do you experience static on phone calls with them? Like with either one, actually. If you have either one, let me know. Over the weekend, I tried these on FaceTime calls and on just regular phone calls on my phone, and I didn't notice any static, but it's not the same as actually using it on a conference call. So I have a call coming up today and isn't it 10 minutes? So I'm going to try it out there for the first time, but if you know anything, please leave a comment. Are these any good? Or if there's another pair of headphones. The other ones that I was considering is the Sony XM4, but that would be another option I would consider as well. So let me know. All right, so today is going to be pretty much an admin day, y'all. I have a lot of deliverables. I have a lot of reports that I owe people, and it's Black Friday. So there's some things that I have to gather and send out every week or some things every other day. There's a dashboard that I need to validate results are correct on, because last week, one of the initiatives that was supposed to start next weekend, they pushed it up to start last weekend. So it started 2 weeks early, and you know how it can be. You are rushing to get things together and you could mess up something. So even though we validated results, I want to go back in and check now that it's live and in production, what are these results actually looking like? And I need to build it I need to extract results from the dashboard, put it in an Excel template so I can send it out to our sales teams, but so they can view it, because they won't see the dashboard for other reasons. But yeah, they won't have access to this dashboard. The dashboard makes it easier for me because results will refresh and update on its own, but I just have to get it in an Excel file with make sure it has the data they need. So yeah, so that's one thing I'm doing. I need to do today. I really am hoping no one gives me any extra work. I have enough to do. I have more than enough to do. I have enough work for 2 people. I don't need any more. So I'm just really hoping that outside of the stuff I need to do, what else am I working on today? Outside of validating results, getting things ready for tomorrow, because one of the deliverables is tomorrow where I have to send out this report. I was working on, so we had an employee. Oh, I need to respond to all these emails. I need to follow up with a manager on another team about how they handled results for a particular thing, because we're getting questions in our inbox about certain things, and I'm just I don't have the answers. I don't know how to handle this. And I've checked with our legal and our HR team on certain things, and they're well, how was it handled the last time? And I'm I don't know. I wasn't on this team. I don't know. So I'm gonna ask someone who was on this team before how they handled it, because it is a recurring project from last year. It came back again this year. They did it again this year, but it's now separated by work group, which it wasn't last year. So it's now being handled by 2 different teams, one being mine. So I don't know how they handled it last year. So I need to follow up with someone and see, okay, how did you guys address these issues? Because it's not clear on how this should be handled. At least to me, it's not clear how this particular issue should be handled. All right, let me work on getting my reports out and working on this Excel file, which I'll probably talk you guys through what I'm doing, because people don't believe we use Excel. They're just like, oh, I don't need to use Excel. I'm just gonna use Tableau. You need to use Excel. Can you hear me? Okay, yes. Yeah, but it's still not what wanted them to do an all-in view and show everything. That's what we were going on that call to say, okay, this is what we try to have. We want them to have everything he wanted to create hypes and competition to drive sales, all of that. Got it. Good. Right. And then we're giving you everything you're asking for on a silver platter and you're like, can't do it. What? Like, I was very let down and very confused. Like, you guys asked us for this, but you can't even, like, if we want you to show everything, you can't show it. So I really don't understand why we even had that conversation about you wanting like the attainment percent when you're telling us on the call you can't show a whole number with a percent. Why are you asking for both then? Please explain, because it makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. If you can't display both, why do you need both? They're not doing anything. That's at least why I left the call. That's my understanding, is that we're just going to go with the custom scorecard and have that was originally planned and it was always going to be needed, right? And they're like, oh, we don't want to duplicate efforts. Okay, got it, but it's not necessarily a duplication when we want you to show something that they can't easily get to on their own using this custom score. Using the dashboard, they can't easily get to that on their own. But this way, if you're able to show it, they can get to it. Like, I don't have to wait on my leader to do it for me, you know? I think it's a system limitation. Like, their system, whatever it is that their platform, it does not allow them to display these things together all in one. Like, y'all should have been upfront about that in the beginning when we were discussing what's possible, and you're asking for this additional data, and I'm saying, well, I don't even think we can get that to you. We need to look and see if that's approved. Why are you asking for it and you can't display it? That's the way it feels, but I have no clue, because they can't answer a question directly. Because I asked, okay, if we go with this option, what exactly does Drew need? No direct answer at all. Right, but even on the call, I said, okay, would you guys be able to do the calculations on your end? That's one way. And then the other, I was like, are you even able to do it if we are doing the calculations on our end? And on the call, it was like, no, we can't display that information together. But in this email we got after the call with the option, it would be with us doing the calculations on our end and sending them that stream of data, which they initially said, no, not possible. But it's still not everything that we wanted to display. They're saying they can show the attainment percent once they hit. So we would have to calculate, okay, your target is this. Once you hit 125%, show me those. They can't see. Oh, that was the other problem. I can't see progress towards the goal. They can't show progress. It's going to show 0 until you hit 125%. Absolutely wild. Very stupid to me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, again, I don't understand how this works, but why doesn't start until December 1st? Why do we have to go back to November 1st? Why? It doesn't start till December. Why does it have to go back to November? Please explain the limitation, because I don't understand. Like, I can understand if they may need some data like for November to like start the stream. Well, no. I'm just saying, like, if they need us to start providing them with data in November so they can get stuff set up on their end, I can get that. But why does it have to go back to November 1st? Because you're saying, no, why? They're not willing to explain why their system or how their system works. And yeah, I got a lot of stuff I need to go through today. Files I need to scrub. Oh, did you ever find for the August? I asked if you had pulled those names. Did you ever find if you have the file for that? Yeah, because I did September, so I have the September file, but I'm checking for... Okay, so I'm working on this Excel template to send out to another team. I am in the process of creating a template so I can get the data. I need to get data from 2 different dashboards that our finance team created into one Excel file. So I'm creating a template so that I can just export the data from these 2 dashboards, put it in this template, refresh. I'm going to pivot it out, refresh the data in the pivot, and then have it built out kind of like a table. So I can just refresh it, sending that out to our sales team so they can send that out to the leaders. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all of the fields that were requested, but I also need to verify like if they need like employee identifying information for this as well. They didn't ask for it, but like people sometimes don't always know what to ask for. So that's where I need to ask. So let me actually also. Okay, yeah, so I messaged them to see like what they actually need. So I got the 2 files downloaded and I just moved one into the other file. So it's one file. And then I have like the raw data, like the numerator denominator for the metrics that I'm going to pivot out because these results are pulled on a day-over-day basis, but they're already calculated in the dashboard. But I need to have it summarize it over that 3-day period and not tell me each individual date's results. So I'm going to put it in a pivot table. And then once I have it in a pivot table, I'm going to create a table on another sheet, which has the data from both pivot tables laid out in a table format with the columns and data they need. And that's what they will receive. Our sales team will get that data. I'm going to work on doing my pivot table. And then I will probably in order to get it in like one table format, or one table at the end, I'll probably have to do a VLOOKUP in order to do that. So I'm going to do my pivot table. And then I don't know about you guys, but I like to change it because when you do a pivot initially, you know how it will, when you have multiple rows of data, it will stack that data beneath each other instead of creating it in a separate column. So I like to I'll right click on my pivot table and go to pivot table options and go to display and change it to the classic pivot table layout. And that will allow you to see, instead of it being in different rows, you can see these different columns, see the data in a column format, which is what I need for this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create a calculated field for these metrics so that based on the date range I select, it will summarize it based on those dates. So what data do I need? And then I also need to stack rank these. Is it by market? Yeah, I need to stack rank this by market. So I am going to have to probably do a sum product formula. I'm sorry, I'm just talking through this, but I think I'm going to need to do a sum product so I can stack rank them by market. Yeah. Okay, so let me work on this pivot table. Now I'll check with you later. Okay, you guys, so it has been a busy past couple of hours. I haven't even had time to take a freaking lunch break. I had to pull up on a call with one of the stakeholders of this Excel file, like the data that I'm pulling together for them in Excel to send over. So I got my template mostly built in place so I can just run this for them or get it formatted the way they want to see it every week. But we ran into an issue where for one of the metrics that we're pulling back, like we're not seeing or employees that don't have, like sales employees that don't have results for this one particular metric. So we are trying to get data for other metrics. So that's what I'm working on. So we had to work through how we're going to handle this. So I'm about to send them out this finalized data as it is, but I also am working on getting some additional metrics pulled into this for them because we can't use this. Like there's just I don't know if it's going to improve next week when I need to do it again, but the way that it is today, there's just so many for this particular metric. There's just so many reps without a result that it's not usable. This data is not going to give them what they want. So we talked through it. I gave them some alternative options. I think we know which one we want to go with, but I just need to analyze it to make sure it's going to do what we want it to do. So that's where I'm at on that. And then for another project that I'm working on, I need to go and pull results for that as well. I need I need to pull results for that. I have to pull in some additional, again, the stakeholder wants some additional fields added into the results. So I have to go and redo the work on this other project that I'm working on. And then I need to send that over to legal and HR. And you guys, I didn't talk to you about this, but last week, and this has to do with anytime there's like an issue or error in reporting and people are like, my performance results don't look right. Like, send screenshots, send everything you have. Like, this employee, they were tracking their performance year to date. And in July, they sent a screenshot from July, August, September results. So they were like, I was here in July, I was here in August. And in September, I had like a 13% drop in performance. And it's a year to date metric, how it's being calculated. However, you wouldn't see a significant drop like that unless they had like a very significant drop in performance for that month of September. But when I looked at the way that this metric is being calculated, I went and I did the manual calculations for each month's performance, and then I did a year-to-date calculation of the performance as well. And when I looked at just the month of September's results, it was a little bit lower than the prior month, but not enough to cause that significant of a drop in their year-to-date performance. So when I'm doing the metric calculations though, like my raw data, like the raw numbers, your numerator, denominator, it's not adding up. It wasn't adding up the way that the metric should be calculated. And mind you, I'm newer to this team. So this wasn't a project that I started. It's just a project I'm helping out with now that I'm on the team. And when I go back into the results, I'm like, it's not right. Like this, either the numbers changed, like we had to restate data at some point in September, which I couldn't find like a communication that there was an issue with this particular metric, that we had to restate data in like data warehouse or something like that. I didn't see a communication. I didn't see anything in our Slack channel about it. So I started going back in and redoing the numbers, and there's two different metrics that's being calculated together to get a year-to-date result, and it's broken out by quarter. So you have one metric that was in quarter one, and then there's a separate metric that we're using Q2 to Q4. So when I started adding it the way it's supposed to be added, not getting the right result. So I was like, let me try and see, were we at some point capturing Q1 through Q4 results for this one metric the entire time where it was supposed to be split? And that's exactly what was happening. The calculation was wrong and being presented as wrong to and this isn't just impacting this one employee. They're just the one that was tracking their performance and emailed us to say, hey, WTF. So it's capturing results from Q1 twice is what's happening. And it shouldn't be capturing data from Q1 twice in the metric calculation, or it was doing that. It was corrected in September. I don't know how they caught it, but they just changed the calculation without notifying anyone. So now everyone's seeing a significant drop in their performance, and it's kind of like, what's going on? So now this has to be escalated to legal because this is a pay impacting metric. So yeah. So I say that to say, one, if you ever are dealing with performance, take screenshots, okay? Take screenshots of your performance in the event that there is a issue down the road. It helps people like me, like data analysts, dig into it. It makes it easier for us that you are actually showing me, because if you did not have the like actual percentages, like if you didn't have that screenshot and you're like, I know it was higher, what am I going to do with that? But when you show me the number, I can manipulate, figure out how can I get to this number you were seeing. If you were just like, oh, I know this number was higher and then all of a sudden it dropped, that makes it 10 times harder for me to research and find the issue. But it's easier when you have screenshots and you have supporting data. That's what we need. That's what we want, you guys. We want supporting information to help us do our job more efficiently and faster. So now we don't necessarily have an answer for you, but at least I determined what the problem was, and I determined, yeah, somebody did fix it, but now it's impacting everyone and it has to go to to legal as far as how to handle legal and HR, I believe, on how to handle it, because this is one of those metrics that is impacting pay. So it's out of my hands right now. Like, this is where it stops with me, is like it has to be handed over to HR and legal for them to come up with the resolution after we identify the problem. So yeah, that was one of the issues that I was working on last week and I didn't record it. I figured I'd just throw it in here to let you guys know about it. But yeah, let me get back to working on my Excel template and getting these results out to this team. I'll get to this other work when I can.